What is so special about the new 2017 Suzuki Swift RST, and how does it hold up against the Toyota Vitz RS GS that costs 1.7 million Kenya shillings? Na mwili complain sana. Today I'm here to tell you about all that this car has to offer. Follow me. Oh man, come on! Powering up the Suzuki Swift RST is a 1000cc engine, which is turbocharged, by the way, from Suzuki, and it's called the K10C. So the K10C is among the few newer engines that Suzuki has introduced on this platform, and it makes this car just perform in a way that you can't really put your hands on. It doesn't feel like it's actually a 1000cc engine. The load down power from low RPM just has it, and the turbo kicks in perfectly and nicely. And one special thing about the booster jet engine that is in this car is Suzuki has made it more interesting by hooking up a cold air intake. What else do you get? A cold air intake, and the sound it makes. Let me just put my feet down. Did you hear it? Again? Oh man, I love this car. This car has a personality. I think it's a car that gives you a balance between a little bit of power and fuel economy. And talking about power, the booster jet, the 1000cc K10C booster jet engine puts out approximately around 109, 110 horsepower and 150 to 170 Newton meters of torque, depending with which RPM you're pushing. And it sounds like small figures or small numbers, but considering that this car weighs 975 kgs, it's enough to push this car from 0 to 100, according to their stats, under 10 seconds. I can't wait to test that. And I told you, what other engine options do you get on the new or 2017 Suzuki Swift? This particular one I already told you, it's the K10C. It's a 1000cc turbocharged engine, and you remember I mentioned it has cold air intake. Of all the things Suzuki could think of, they decided that it doesn't matter whether you're starting from the low end, you're going to have cold air intake. You also get another performance engine on the Suzuki Swift, which is the Suzuki Swift Sport, and that comes with what we call the K14C. The K14C is a 1400cc booster jet turbo engine. That's another one you get on this platform. For guys who don't want either, because this is an RST, so it is, you know, it's a bit geared towards performance of booster jet, and the 1400 is also a sport, which again is geared towards performance. But if you want to do your normal driving, there are three other engine options that come on this Suzuki lineup, and that is all of them are 1200cc, and one is a 1300cc, which is a diesel they stole from Fiat, but the other ones are just 1200cc with a different variation of displacement. Kidogo kidogo, one is in 1197, the other one is 1190, so they are very, very, very different variation hapo kidogo kidogo. But you have the what you call the K12M, the K12N, and then the K12C, all of them naturally aspirated, and all those engines that I've mentioned can also come with a mild hybrid application, something that Suzuki calls smart hybrid vehicles by Suzuki. A very ingenious technology which makes these cars actually have a bit of more power and fuel economy at the same time. There are also a series of two engines, the K12M and the K12N. Now those ones have what we call an option, even this one has an option that is called the dual jet technology. So what exactly is dual jet system by Suzuki? It's actually a way that fuel is delivered to the combustion chamber. So fuel is done through dual or double injection through ports into the combustion chamber, and that makes it easier to have efficiency by improving and increasing vaporization of the fuel once it hits the combustion chamber. Now, before I leave you guys, I have one, okay, in other markets, Suzuki has made it possible to have what you call special edition. You remember on the Toyota Vitz RS GS, we had special editions? Yes, even on the Suzuki lineup, we have special edition. And that special edition from Japan is given to us courtesy of a company, a tuning company by the name Tomi Kaira. And the car is called an M14. It's tuned in 3 stages, so you can get it in tune 1, or you can get it in stage 1, you can get it with a stage 2, and you can get it with a stage 3. And probably you guys are wondering what is Tomi Kaira. So Tomi Kaira is a company that was formed by 2 friends and 2 engineers back in the days. And those guys were called Yoshikazu Tomita and Kikuo Kaira. So they took the second name Tomita and the other name, second name from the other guy, Kaira, and they put together to form what we call the Tomi Kaira company. And so you can get that blue edition M14 from Tomi Kaira. It comes with, naturally in blue color, with a big white strip all the way from the front to the bottom, just like you'll find it on the special edition of the Ford Mustang. And all this power from the Suzuki Swift RST K10C booster jet engine goes down to the wheels through a 6-speed automatic transmission. A very big difference from what we had on the Toyota RS GS, which was a CVT with a manual mode, which was very not so good. In fact, it was very useless in terms of putting down power. But here you get a 6-speed auto, and the shifts, just listen. Number 2, and come on, number 3. And at number 3 right now, I'm doing 120 kilometers per hour, and that just tells you how refined and how nice it feels to drive the Suzuki Swift RST, regardless of it having a 1000cc engine. You know, this is a car that can actually show some people dust in so many areas. The way this car handles, the way this car performs, it's just epic, just short of epicness. And without further ado, let me show you how this car looks from the outside. And I was tempted to call it a she, and then I remembered the owner of this car has actually nicknamed this particular Suzuki Swift RST Reddington. You know, the guy from Blacklist, because of all the reds, I presume. Let's see how it looks from the outside. Suzuki did an amazing job with the design of the 2017 Suzuki Swift, be it the RS, the RS Sport, or this RST. And from the look, from the front fascia, you can clearly see that they were going for an aggressive look. The aggressive bumper that just shows you that, yes, I have a small engine, but don't try dare me. A honeycomb grille with a very nice camera, forward-facing camera there. Hii ingine ni ya kuongezea, but these are front-facing camera. You have your fog lights with very nice chrome appendages around it, just to give you a bit of an extra look. Kuna watu wanapenda the chrome finish, but there are people who will actually delete and maybe blacken it out or do whatever they want to do. But there you go. One more thing that I wanted to share with you about the Suzuki Swift is the new updated headlights. The previous generation had very funny, I don't know, they're just looking weird. On this particular platform, this new shape, they did a very nice finish of the headlights with an LED strip running all around, and if you just flick them on during the night or during the day, hapo jioni, I can tell you this car looks very nice to look at from the outside. It's running tire 16 size, but you can also get it with a 17. Of course, disc at the front, disc at the rear. The suspension on these is normal McPherson struts at the front, and it's also sprung at the rear, normal springs, and then with a coil on the side. Away from that, you have very nice side skirt that roll all the way to the rear, and they got this, they deleted the handle from this point from the previous gen Suzuki Swift. Na wakaweka hii kitu hapa ya juke. You remember the juke? So this is where you open the door. It's a 5-door hot hatch, and it gives you everything that you might be looking for in a Suzuki Swift. And the trendiness of the Suzuki Swift flows all the way to the rear, and I'll start by showing you what the badge means. So here we have the Suzuki RS Turbo. So what I remember I told you it's an RST, so the turbo is supposed to be here, but because Suzuki they try to do their own thing, they try to play around with the numbers or the letters to have that there. But new updated rear lights, very nice, looking very subtle and nice. You have a camera here, and I'll tell you about the 360 camera this car has. I remember we did a review of the Suzuki Ignis, and by the way, this car is based on a platform called the HearTech Platform B, which is the same platform you'll find the Suzuki Baleno, is the same platform you'll find the Suzuki Ignis and the Suzuki Solio. So there are a few things here, and I remember when you did the review of the Suzuki Ignis and I told you about the 360 camera and the options that were in that car and how we loved it. You guys were like, hey, melipwa, kusukuma gari. But it's truth, Suzuki are also putting their game out to make sure that you get quality, awesome and drivable car. So nothing much down here. If it will be a Suzuki Swift Sport, you'll find a very aggressive grille here. I'm looking forward to get you the Suzuki Swift Sport so that we can just compare and see what other nice things you can get on it. But from this one, it's just a normal bumper with the center brake light, which again adds on to the character of this car. Away from that, I think we can look at practicality. Okay. I can't say the Suzuki Swift is one of the most practical car that you can buy. But whoever is buying this car, of course, practicality of the boot space is not the biggest concern. So it makes it, because it's sunken, and it gives you a better space to put in your luggage, but it gives you a difficulty when you're loading out and in a big luggage, because there's something here that is protruding. So that is something you have to work with. But away from that, comparing it to the previous generation, apparently this boot space is slightly bigger than the previous generation. And even if you fold down your seats, it gives you again bigger space and bigger loading area than the previous generation. Nothing much, no electric tailgate. That is it. Oh, there is a spoiler. There's a very nice subtle spoiler on the RST again. Very nice, with a brake light, of course, which is quite all you get from the Suzuki Swift RST. Immediately you get yourself into Suzuki Swift RST, you're greeted by red everywhere. Red there, red on these two cup holders with black and red sleeves inside, red on the handbrake, and these seats again are cloth but with red stitchings, and that is standard on the RST. What else do you get? There is a new updated, by the way, console here to sort your climate control, and it has a digital display at the center, but I like it because it has tactic buttons. In case these don't work, you can at least put it off, you can change the mode. This will just increase the fan speed and all that. The owner of this car has done an Android radio conversion in this, but even the stock radio that came with it was touch. It has Android Auto and Apple CarPlay. And one interesting thing is the 360 camera on this car. You remember when you did the Ignis and you guys were like, yeah, so it has a 360 camera, which is very, very nice. It's actually better than one car we reviewed that costs 17 million. The clarity on these is just awesome and epic. I like it. It has all the points you can cover, from front, rear, side. On the side mirror, there's a camera there on both ends. So it's just perfect. Coming down to the sport steering wheel with a flat base at the lower, I mean, with fake carbon fiber, it's fake, but it makes it just look awesome. And you have your piano black finished paddle shifters, which I must confess they are not the best to drive this car in, but they are there in case you just want to use it. And talking of paddle shifters, what are the transmission options that you get on the Suzuki Swift platforms, especially the HearTech platform? So you get, I think, around 6 transmissions. So you have the 6-speed manual, you have the 5-speed manual from iSeen, and then you have the 5-speed automated manual transmission, which is robotized. It's basically simulating an automatic transmission, but in a manual way. And then you have a CVT transmission from Jatco. In some markets, utaipata na hiyo CVT. So the good thing is this particular one and the 1400 K14C Sport come with either 6-speed manual, 5-speed manual, or 6-speed automatic, So utaepuka hiyo maneno ya CVT. The instrument cluster is also very nice. Traditional, I can see the speed on the instrument cluster is going all the way to 220. I have managed to get it to around 160, and I still felt comfortable and solid to drive further. And then there's just nice display at the center where you can just change and select what you want to see here, from fuel economy all the way to how your driving dynamics of the car, your motion. And one I like most is this one that gives you what you call the torque and power. So you can actually just, have a view. For a small car like this one, somebody has made it his work to give you a graph that shows you the torque and the power that this car is putting while you're driving. I think that's pretty awesome. An aftermarket boost gauge for your turbo. I've driven it for so long, and the only top boost bar I could get was 1 bar. And I think most turbos on the market are just hitting the 1 bar. One thing I love about this car is the storage bin. For those guys who like traveling, it can and then you have still another extra space to put here. It has 2 cup holders and 1 at the rear for the guy. Nyuma walisema ubebe mtu mmoja, so they only have 1 cup holder. So guys at the rear, I think the guy who will use the center cup holder will be the lift guy, not the 2 sitting besides him, besides the lift guy. And let me talk about a little bit of technology that you get on the Suzuki Swift RST. One is lesser sensors. They're equipped and they're placed strategically here. And what does this do? So it has radar and laser sensors, by the way, and that helps you with cruise control. This car has lane departure. It has rear and front collision mitigation. It has all radar-aided cruise control. What else would you want from this car? I don't know. Suzuki are doing a stellar job. The idea that they are bringing all this technology down to basic cars like the Ignis and the Suzuki Swift, to me, it's one very good thing from a manufacturer. And so the only thing that is remaining is to drive this car and feel how it performs. And then I will do a 0 to 100 with Mr. Mbugua, and then we can confirm whether 1000cc is better than 1500cc paired to a CVT transmission from the Toyota Vitz RS GS. And how does it feel to drive this car? I can tell you, short of epicness again, the Suzuki, come on! Woo! I think this is more fun. I'm enjoying driving this car more than the Toyota RS GS with a useless CVT. This is it now. This is what you need to be driving for epic performance and just enjoyment. So the Suzuki Swift RS feels very nice. It's actually planted on the ground quite well. This particular one comes with tuned suspension from Suzuki. They are called the C&K suspension, which are filled with nitrogen gas to just make sure that this car performs. And they're supposed to be adaptive. You can actually tune them for soft, and you can also tune them for hard in case you want them to be a bit stiffer for performance. But this, the one that I'm driving, the owner of this car deleted those suspension, and then they did aftermarket coilovers to just raise the ground clearance. But naturally, this car comes quite low and planted on the ground. And just like the Toyota Vitz RS GS, it's not one comfortable car to drive when it's in that suspension configuration. But this one here, it has a good decent ground clearance right now. You can drive it, it's soft, and at the same time you can push it to any point you want. It has an aftermarket boost gauge just in front of me, and the steering is just spot on. When you touch the steering, the car just goes where you're pointing it to. And this car has a personality. What I can say is this is a car you can enjoy driving. This is a car you can get some awesome and epic fuel economy numbers out of. And at the same time, it's a car you can go and hang out with your friends and just show them how good and thrilling this car is to drive.
And sometimes you just gotta believe there's something that'll give you relief. There's something that'll have what you need, what you need.
And guys, welcome to the Driving with the Boys and the segment where we test 0 to 100. On my left is Mr.
Mbugwa here, SI unit.
Richard Mbugwa himself.
I'm here.
Umefurahi, you are smiling from ear to ear.
Today I'll be I was promoted to Mr. Yes.
So we're only here to make sure that we test one simple fact.
0 to 100.
0 to 100, isn't it? Yes. Is the Suzuki Swift RS with 1000 cc engine, booster jet, turbo, faster than the Toyota Vitz RS GS with a 1500 1NZ CVT.
FE.
Sindio?
Ndio.
Aya, are you ready, bro?
I'm ready.
I am boosting. 1, 2, 3 and go. Woo!
Tell me when you hit 100.
Yes, and 100.
I have the numbers.
Yes.
11.4 seconds.
11.4 seconds.
Yes.
Okay, now this car is rated at 10 seconds.
Okay, that's not
0
bad.
to 100.
That's not actually bad.
Considering we are
the
3 people.
3 of us.
I'm supposed to be here alone. So 11 seconds. Can we shave off a second for the weight?
And also what we don't tell people in more dense, the air is dense in this part of the area we are testing.
Tukuju, yeah, of course.
So
11.4 seconds.
11.4 seconds.
That's very decent.
That's very nice.
That's very decent.
I mean, this car speaks for itself.
And the sound. Did you hear the coda intake?
Yeah.
Let me just stop the car and give you the sound.
We told you that thing has to be in my... That one.
I love the way you're smiling.
And then the...
Yes.
That one.
Then it
has to be... I think the first thing I'll do in my upgrade, kitu ya kwanza hata kuletapatia gari, kutoa intake, put the con. This guy's...
Now that you are Mr. Yes, do you like the plastics? Brittle plastic.
Very brittle.
But for 1.4 million, sure.
Yeah. But I love the fact that you can get a bigger screen on the Android. So you have a bigger screen. Well, I think it's a 9-inch. And like the Vitz, you can only fit a 7-inch.
Yeah.
This one is much better. And the looks inside.
This car looks good, man.
Yeah, and the seats also
simple.
And like the way we were complaining about the suspension on the Vitz.
Yes.
This one you can go for a long distance with it.
Correct.
Comfortably. When you need power, it's there. When you need fuel economy,
it's there.
It's there.
Now, Mr. Mbugwa. Now that we're into Mr. Yes, do you like the plastic?
Nah, not really. To be honest, it has too much plastics. But it's a 1.4 million car.
Yes.
The most important thing is that pale mbele gonna a good, reliable engine. For 1.4, I feel most of the cars, the Vitz.
Why are you keeping quiet? The Vitz, but all of them are plastic.
Vitz, the Demio, the Fit. Actually, the Fit is worse. This one is better.
Yes.
The Fit with the big plastic over here that bubbles dashboard.
Up. Yes.
But for this one, I love the comfort. I love how it looks from the outside.
And the red accents. Now, for 1.4 million, this car has a very special thing. And that thing is, I think that you can only find in premium cars like the Mercedes-Benzes, the BMWs, the Audis. And that is radar-aided cruise control. And that means if there's a car in front of you, you can actually like set the distance between you and the car, and this car will slow down and accelerate based with the car that is in front of you.
Just like the GLC.
Yes.
And the GLE 43 that we had.
Yes. But that one, they have Mercedes Distronic. So this one, for a small car and a compact budget car like this.
And the amount that you're going to spend on this car.
This is perfect.
It's perfect. 1.4, it's perfect. I know based on magari zimeenda juu.
Yes.
Normally, the last time I think we reviewed a Swift, that car was going for 850.
Yeah, it was less than a million.
It was the manual version.
Yes.
I enjoyed also being in that car. But this one, okay, 1.4 is quite I don't feel the price is okay there.
Why are you keeping quiet?
Fanya nini? Maneno ipotee kwa mdomo.
Nafikiri kitu imebaki mkubwa, acha tufanye value for money.
Fanye verdict.
We do the verdict and see if this car fits into what we are proposing to you as a car you can buy.
Something you enjoy, man.
There we are going into a corner at 140.
You can't even feel the corners.
Are you feeling it?
Ah,
man. Hey. We're to find a value for money.
Find a value for money.
160. And we are still going. And that's a corner I'm taking.
Oh, God.
That's another corner I'm taking at 160. Guys, do you feel us shaking? Hey. Nothing. This guy is... I was telling these guys, you can't tell whether this car is a 1000cc engine.
You can't.
The low down power on this car is just pure phenomenon. It's just, I don't know, I can't explain.
And it's not the turbo, not that like the turbo is big.
No.
Actually, they've just put a small turbo.
Yes, but the tuning and just the engineering around the delivery of power on this car is just wonderful. To find your value for money?
Value for money.
20 cars.
Broken and still feel nothing at all but pain in the chill. Yeah, cold and I'm all alone. Yeah, I can't even see shore. Yeah, and I got nowhere to go. Yeah, hoping I can stay afloat. Yeah, it feels like I've been dreaming.
This particular Suzuki Swift RST will set you back anything between 1.3 to 1.4 million Kenya shillings. That is if you decide to buy locally or import. This particular one we sourced for a client all the way from Mombasa through AUTOSELECT by Conversation, which is a company that helps you source your car anywhere from the world. Be it in UK, be it in Japan, we can import for you. We can also help you source a car locally, be it in Nairobi, be it in Mombasa, and we can do it conveniently, safely, to make sure that you have an awesome ownership experience on the car. So, does this Swift give you value for money? My answer is yes, because what do you get with this particular Swift away from the other available hot hatches in the market? One is you get value for money. This car for the longest time has been the car that has stayed under the 1 million mark for a very long time, and people hadn't noticed how powerful and how enjoyable this car was. And right now the prices have gone up, but still it's relatively lower than most cars in the Kenya market, of course, except the Nissan Note. But Nissan Note sasa pia nasikia yuko 1.5, so I think this car still gives you the value proposition for a small hot hatch. And the idea that Suzuki have made it possible to have a turbocharger on the 1000cc and a turbocharger on the 1400 K14C, I think it makes it one of the most epic cars to own. Recently, Mbugu attended an event at the Whistling Moran, and guess which car came first on that day? It was a Suzuki Swift Sport with a 1400cc turbocharged booster engine. That shows you that the time is here. The time is here. Instead of going out to buy your Golf TSI, instead of looking on the other side to buy your Toyota Vitz RS GS with a CVT, because the other side of Toyotas, of course, we can't get the limited edition. So you have an opportunity to buy yourself this car. So call us any day, anytime. Pay us a visit at our waterfront office and we'll help you get the perfect car. That's all from me. I've been your host, Ibrahim Toloi, and on behalf of the entire team at Conversation who've made it possible to bring you this review, we say goodbye and see you on Sunday, because on Sunday we're bringing you one of the most requested cars.
Broken and still feel nothing at all but pain in the chill.